to achieve a new dimension in sound, impossible to obtain in a monaural recording.
Hi and welcome to this new video. Today we're going to check out two Vifa Reykjaviks in stereo. I already recorded the intro for this video where I mentioned that I'm still not quite impressed by them, especially because it's a big letdown that they don't play true stereo, but they just play in party mode. Then I tried to turn them on, connect them, and I played some tracks by Pink Floyd in order to show you that there is no real stereo separation, and suddenly they did play in stereo, so it seems like there are two different modes, one party mode and one stereo mode. Fact is that now they do work in stereo, so the game has totally changed. As you can see, I have one black Vifa Reykjavik here and one white one. I ordered the black one about 1.5 weeks ago, but then I found out that one store in Berlin already had the white one, so I picked it up and waited for the black one to arrive. Sound-wise, there's no difference, so I don't know, no more bass or no advantage in bass from the black one here, which is still a bit sad because I maybe expected a new firmware or something. But still, I try to pair them in stereo, and this actually works very nice. So you just turn them on, press the button at the back, and they connect, I think, within 2 seconds or something. So it's very quick pairing without any app, which is very impressive, as almost all other speakers do need an app in order to pair them, and Vifa does it wirelessly and very quickly. So that was impressive already. And together they also sound quite a bit better than, of course, alone. And I would even call them comparable to the Vifa Helsinki, although you really have to decide for yourself. The Vifa Helsinki still has a bit more punch, although yes, the Reykjaviks are playing in stereo. But I think from resolution and soundstage, the Reykjavik or the Reykjaviks would win, just because of course they are playing in stereo now. And they of course also have a nicer mid-range due to the stereo separation. They have a more open sound separation or sound stage, which the Vifa Helsinki cannot bring you, as it is just one speaker unit. So now you really have to decide for yourself. From the bass kick I would still prefer the Helsinki, but maybe you are a real hi-fi lover and you really need the stereo separation, then those two little things would be better. I also changed my opinion on the bass of the Vifa, or on the overall sound of the Vifa a little bit, because in my last video I was quite disappointed with the bass, but after some days of listening I actually got used to it, and it definitely has some other advantages over other speakers in the class and even the Denon, because it has the best mid-range and treble in this class. It's just amazing. It's much better than the Denon. When it comes to mid-range performance and also treble performance, just that the bass is slightly lacking. So currently it's still a niche product, but for the people who are in this niche, for example my dad, who's a real high-end lover, they will really appreciate the speaker, as it has crazy amounts of resolution and detail in the mids and treble. But for the broad mass I still cannot quite recommend it, as it's simply missing a little bit of bass in order to be compared to the Denon and Via, for example. Again, as a niche product it's pretty great, because for hi-fi lovers it will be an awesome speaker. My dad, who is a real hi-fi lover, listened to it for some seconds and he fell in love with it instantly, because of the great resolution. But I will talk about this in another video, because I don't want to waste any time talking about the sound now, because I will do this in another video, maybe in the review or something. But now please put up your headphones, as we will try them out in stereo. I will compare them against the Denon and Via and also the Vifa Helsinki, as they are quite similar price wise, so those go for about $400, while you can pick up the Helsinki for $350, and enjoy the sound check. So as you can see, I set them up like this, quite far apart, and I will simply start with a very nice new jazz track which I have just discovered. I mean, the track is not new, it's a very old track, but it sounds really great, and the voice is only coming from the left, and from the right you can hear many instruments. So thanks to my binaural microphones you should hear this very nicely. And yeah, this is really the moment where I get impressed with the Reykjaviks. One unit already sounds nice. Again, it's a niche product. The Denon is way better for the broad mass. I mean, it has good treble, good mids, good bass, so it's overall a good speaker. While the Vifa has okay bass but brilliant treble and mids, so it's not for everyone. But like this, together in stereo, it should be I think one of the best small hi-fi speakers for $400. Because it can almost compete with the Phantom when it comes to treble and mid-range, which is just insane due to the price point and also the size difference. But now let's try this track out and take
together to achieve a new dimension in sound, impossible to obtain in a monaural recording.
Hi and welcome to this new video. Today we're going to check out two Vifa Reykjaviks in stereo. I already recorded the intro for this video where I mentioned that I'm still not quite impressed by them, especially because it's a big letdown that they don't play true stereo. but they just play in party mode. Then I tried to turn them on, connect them, and I played some tracks by Pink Floyd in order to show you that there is no real stereo separation, and suddenly they did play in stereo, so it seems like there are two different modes, one party mode and one stereo mode. Fact is that now they do work in stereo, so the game has totally changed. As you can see, I have one black Vifa Reykjavik here and one white one. I ordered the black one about 1.5 weeks ago, but then I found out that one store in Berlin already had the white one, so I picked it up and waited for the black one to arrive. Sound-wise, there's no difference, so I don't know, no more bass or no advantage in bass from the black one here, which is still a bit sad because I maybe expected a new firmware or something. But still, I try to pair them in stereo, and this actually works very nice. So you just turn them on, press the button at the back, and they connect, I think, within 2 seconds or something. So it's very quick pairing without any app, which is very impressive, as almost all other speakers do need an app in order to pair them, and Vifa does it wirelessly and very quickly. So that was impressive already. And together they also sound quite a bit better than, of course, alone. And I would even call them comparable to the Vifa Helsinki, although you really have to decide for yourself. The Vifa Helsinki still has a bit more punch, although yes, the Reykjaviks are playing in stereo. But I think from resolution and soundstage, the Reykjavik or the Reykjaviks would win, just because of course they are playing in stereo now. And they of course also have a nicer mid-range due to the stereo separation. They have a more open sound separation or sound stage, which the Vifa Helsinki cannot, bring you, as it is just one speaker unit. So now you really have to decide for yourself. From the bass kick, I would still prefer the Helsinki, but maybe you are a real hi-fi lover and you really need the stereo separation, then those two little things would be better. I also changed my opinion on the bass of the Vifa, or on the overall sound of the Vifa a little bit, because in my last video I was quite disappointed with the bass, but after some days of listening I actually got used to it, and it definitely has some other advantages over other speakers in the class, and really, hi-fi sounding just because of the stereo. But next, let's try it out against the Denon and Vaya. As we heard from the last video, one Denon and Vaya and one Reykjavik, sound quite different. The Denon has quite punchy bass, although not boosted, but still very punchy and powerful, while the Vifa was lacking a bit of bass compared to it, but the Vifa could offer quite a bit better mid-range and treble performance. So let me try out another track here by Van Morrison. And yeah, let's see how the Denon compares. So you can of course hear the stage is much better with the Vifas. But bass still sounds fuller with the Denon, which is a bit weird, because I would expect two Vifa Reykjaviks to sound fuller, but they don't.
When the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, oh Lord, I want to be in that number. The saints go marching in. Yeah. I went St. John of the Cross.
So of course it's very hard to compare a stereo system to a mono system, although yeah, the Denon does have some stereo processing and it does have two drivers. It's still one speaker unit, so you can hardly even compare them. The Vifa sounded, a bit softer than the Denon, just because they were set farther apart. And the Denon sounded a bit more powerful because it was one piece, and of course also because it simply has a bit more bass kick. Someone's calling me right now, but I don't have time for this. So yeah, the Denon, wins in bass. Maybe it would be great to use the Denon as some kind of subwoofer. Maybe you can even use the mini rig subwoofer for the Vifas, because together with, I don't know, the Denon as a sub, they would be a great hi-fi system. So maybe, I don't know, build a sub on your own, which you can connect via auxiliary, throw a battery in, and it will cost you about, I don't know, $500 to $600, and you will pretty much have, and maybe even a mini rig killer, because they sound very similar, even better mids and treble than the mini rigs, should be as loud, and with a subwoofer, they would be pretty comparable, I think. But now, let's maybe try out another track with more bass kick, so that I can show you that the Denon still sounds a bit more powerful. So bass is more comparable when it comes to overall power, but the deep bass on the Denon still sounds a bit better in my opinion. Again, the Denon as a sub and the Vifa Reykjaviks as the tweeters or the mid-range drivers would be insane sounding. So maybe Vifa comes up with a small subwoofer for them next year, would be a great thing. But now let's maybe connect the Vifa Helsinki. Again, as you could hear, the Denon could compete nicely despite being half the price and also not sounding stereo. But for hi-fi music, I think that I would recommend the Denon, I would recommend the two Reykjaviks over the Denon, as they feature more resolution and of course also way better stereo when you pair them up together. Although one Reykjavik against the Denon, I don't know, it's a hard decision. Maybe for the real high-end geeks, I would recommend the Reykjavik still, but for most people, I would probably prefer the Denon, just because it is maybe the better overall package. But I will do this in another video. So now let's maybe check out the track from before, or another one by Van Morrison, with the Vifa Helsinki this time. The Vifa Helsinki is playing in neutral mode to make the comparison more fair, and again it's about $350, and it should be the next bigger model to the Reykjavik. But as we have two Reykjaviks here, they should sound quite comparable, so let's check them out.
There were people on the sidewalks, running down the avenue, or sitting outside in cafes. We were looking for the muse. Well, I was locked in by the system. Well, no freedom is the rule. Now I spend all my time make it understood. It once was my life. That's what everybody said. How the things I used to do. Yeah, the people that were friends. It means something. At the end of the day, it once was my life. They can't take that away. Trials and tribulations, and stupidity still rules.
So yeah, you could hear the Vifa Reykjavik sounded way more impressive when it comes to stereo imaging, and also the mids and treble I think were a bit better on the Vifa. Yeah, of course, both are Vifa products, so better on the Vifa Reykjaviks. Although maybe treble was still comparable, as the Vifa Helsinki has great treble resolution, but the mids of course were better on the Reykjavik, also due to the, sound stage. The mids just sounded more realistic, and again, the bass was better on the Vifa Helsinki. Despite it being in neutral mode, it still packed more punch, which is a bit weird. I mean, those are two Reykjaviks, and the Helsinki already isn't a full sounding speaker when it comes to normal volume listening, especially in the neutral mode. It's really not a full sounding speaker. and the Reykjavik sound even thinner. For some people, real hi-fi freaks, yeah, they won't bother, like my dad or some other people in the comments. They won't even care. I mean, they do have deep bass down to 50 Hertz. You will hear all of the bass notes, but for some people, they will probably not be pronounced enough. With the Helsinki, you can clearly notice them. With the Reykjavik, you can hear them, but in my opinion, they should be a bit more pronounced, especially when you play them in stereo. I would expect a bit more punch, but still that's very subjective. Some people might like it more like this, or some people might be okay with a little bit less bass punch, because on the other hand, the Reykjaviks of course also have many advantages over the Helsinki, so for example, again, the stereo separation, better mids, and just a more natural music reproduction due to the stereo imaging, and just the bigger soundstage, like I already mentioned 1,000 times now. So yeah, let's maybe check out another modern track here, which I usually also play in my comparisons, so that I don't only play acoustic stuff here.
You don't have to wait until the world is over. If you, why can't you take me closer? I could be the wind, I could take you higher. If I could steal the sun, could I be? I'll take you to the moon, space, speed racer. Ooh, I wanna take you there. Show you a fancy car. I promise we can take it slow. Can I get a witness? You can test.
So again, you could hear stereo again much better on the Reykjaviks, as it's obvious because there are two speakers. But again, the bass kick a little bit disappointing from the two Reykjaviks again. From a stereo system which costs $400, I just expect a bit more bass punch. I don't know, the Vifa Reykjavik alone doesn't sound very powerful. It's okay again for some people, but in stereo I would expect it to be at least as good as the Helsinki in neutral mode, but the Helsinki still packs more punch, sounds more powerful. So for all of the people who are also definitely interested in listening to modern music, I know, electronic music, house music with a lot of bass, you should definitely, I don't know, not buy the two Reykjaviks, but I also don't think that this is what they are meant for. I think Reykjavik, I think that FIFA rather, I don't know, meant to sell those to hi-fi geeks, which want to set up their small portable hi-fi system, and who really, I don't know, want stereo sound and who really want the resolution. And those will also not care about the slightly lacking bass. So for example, people in the comments told me, yeah, I know it's slightly lacking the bass also compared to my Helsinki. It could have a little bit more bass punch, but I actually don't care, as the stereo sound and the better mids matter to me a lot more. So it's really about you, which one you like more and what's better for you. So for some people, hi-fi freaks, the two Reykjaviks will probably be the better choice due to the better mid-range, nicer stereo separation, and overall a bigger soundstage. And that's just what matters for hi-fi listeners who are listening very critically. And the Helsinki probably is the better one for the broad mass, as it's one speaker unit, packs more punch, and it's also $50 less expensive. But you really have to listen for yourself, and that's why I'm of course wearing my good microphones, so you can, I don't know, make up your own opinion. So next I will maybe try them at higher volumes to also see if you can make a small party with them. Just, yeah, moved my light, and I will go a bit farther away. So maybe like this, and then I will crank the FIFA up to maybe 70% volume, and then we can compare them if they are also good at higher volumes. So I preferred the two Reykjaviks by quite a bit with this track. I really wanted to show you how they sound on higher volumes, because now you could hear the gap between the Helsinki and the Vifa Reykjavik when it comes to bass closed up a lot. The Reykjavik sounded almost as punchy and as powerful. That is probably due to the same amount of deep bass. I mean, the Reykjavik's not the same amount, but the same capabilities in deep bass. The Reykjavik reaches down to 50 Hz, the Helsinki reaches down to 50 Hz as well. So on higher volumes, the Reykjaviks really show their bass kick as well, while the Vifa Helsinki also sounds a bit more powerful on normal volumes. But again, on higher volumes like this, 75% volume, the Reykjaviks actually sound just better than the Helsinki. Not as powerful, but they were very, very close. And on the other hand, they again still delivered better mids, better stereo sound. So like this on higher volumes, I would probably recommend the Reykjaviks. And for normal volumes, if you don't care about the stereo and the better mids with the Reykjaviks, I would probably recommend the Helsinki, just because it also has the late night mode, which boosts bass for normal and low volumes. And simply sounds a bit better on normal volumes as it's just more powerful. But again, if you really care about stereo sound, great mids, great treble, just a small hi-fi portable system, which also sounds great on high volumes, the Reykjaviks are much better than the Helsinki in my opinion, as they have stereo sound and also sound really, really, really nice on higher volumes. So let me try out another track if I can find one. Maybe one by Soul Persona. Those also sound really good on those probably. So let's check out Analog here. Everyone knows this track already, and I will stay at about 70% volume. Yeah, as you could hear, the Reykjavik still, again, sounded very comparable to the Helsinki now. And I think this already was the last track now, which I wanted to show you, as it's already 20 minutes here. And as you could hear, on higher volumes, the gap between the Helsinki and the Reykjaviks really closed up a lot. The Reykjavik sounded almost better in any regard, better stereo, I don't know, very comparable bass kick, better mids, and maybe even nicer treble. Although the Vifa Helsinki might be more appealing to some of you, some people just prefer one unit sound. Also the Phantom is one unit which sounds mono, and this just makes it more impressive sounding, just because the sound is coming from one source. But many people also prefer stereo. It's really, I don't know, subjective. Some people say, yeah, I want the compact sound of the Helsinki more. Some people say, oh, I really want a small hi-fi system which has a real stereo, true stereo sound. Then the Reykjaviks will be the best one for you. My personal, I don't know, advice to you is, if you listen on normal volumes or on low volumes, the Vifa Helsinki probably is the better choice, because you can activate the late night mode on the Vifa app. So this just boosts some bass for normal volumes and for low volumes, which makes it a lot more, I don't know, full-bodied sounding than the Reykjaviks. But if you want true hi-fi sound, great stereo imaging, great sound stage, a lot of depth to the sound, and you also want great performance on high volumes, the Reykjaviks are, I think, in my opinion, the much better choice. Yes, they're $50 more, but they also, in my opinion, sound better on higher volumes than the Helsinki, because on low volumes or normal volumes, which we heard before, the Helsinki, I don't know, still took the lead just because it sounded like a bigger speaker, more punch, more overall bass kick still. Not the same stereo separation, but simply a bit more power to the sound. But on high volumes, again, the Reykjaviks could close the gap between this and the Helsinki quite a bit, and they sounded just as powerful, plus the advantage of the better stereo and better mids, and maybe even better treble. So on high volumes, the Reykjaviks took the lead for me, and also on high volumes, they will be a little bit louder than the Helsinki, maybe not as clean, but a bit louder. So for a party and also for critical music listening, the Reykjaviks are really nice. Still, my critique points remain. On normal volumes, they could sound a bit more powerful. I mean, it's a stereo speaker setup. They are just as big as the Vifa Helsinki. I mean, look at this. If I take them out here, they have roughly the same size as the Helsinki. They are a bit thicker, I think, and they are just as broad or as wide as the Helsinki. So I would expect them to sound as powerful on normal volumes. Sadly, they don't. So for all of you who are also interested in listening to modern music on normal volumes, the Helsinki might be the better one. But for all of you hi-fi freaks here, which are looking for, I don't know, great resolution, great stereo separation, and also good sound on high volumes, the Reykjaviks will be the best ones for you. Still, the Helsinki is a great package, also sounds good on high volumes, but the Reykjaviks just are very impressive in stereo. I think I would even keep them like this. I might have to save some money or even get them for Christmas or something, but together they sound really, really nice and can even replace something, I don't know, like a small stereo setup, which is a cheap one, maybe for $600 or something, because they have an incredible amount of resolution. But now I talked quite a bit. I hope you didn't get bored or something, but I really wanted to show this. Until then, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like or subscribe to the channel. Until then, have a great time and bye bye.